SRM University. We have the problem statement number 2, and I'm going to show you the connections that we have made up here. So we have given the input in the same line, and the input is from the function generator over here, and the voltage source is a dual supply, so it gives 10 volts on both sides, and we have cross-connected it such that we get 10 volts plus 10 volts and minus 10 volts. And now what we're going to do is we're going to get the output from the CRO, digital CRO. Now we're going to see in detail the connections that we have made for problem statement for team B, that is a non-inverting differentiator. So these 3 pins, U4P1 is connected to the output pin, that is pin 1 of the op-amp, and that is taken out into this probe, the white of this probe, and this will be given to the oscilloscope. Now the second pin is internally connected to all these resistors, and we have kept we need 2.2 kilo ohms. So for that we have used R19. Now R19 is internally connected to C14. C14 and the other side of C14 is grounded according to our problem statement here. We have this connection, and we have internally connected here, and we have grounded this. It goes to the main ground. So now what we have done is for the input pin 3, that is the non-inverting input, all these 3 resistors are connected internally at this point, and we have taken R23, which is 2.2K for this resistor is a compensation resistor, and we have grounded that as well. And now, we have grounded here. Now we have taken the input for both as input goes through 1 kilo ohms here. For both the inverting and non-inverting pins, we have taken 1 kilo ohm input, and that we have done using this point. The 1 kilo ohm is connected from here, that is R20. It is connected to the same, this is where we are supplying the input. This is the positive pin of this probe, which will be going to the function generator, and another probe, this probe, which we will be having an oscilloscope to get the wave of the input function generator. So we have supplied it through R20, which is 1 kilo ohms, and that supply is given to the inverting and the non-inverting pins of the op-amp. So we have made our setup for our experiment, question B, problem statement B, which is a non-inverting differentiator, and because we have had 2 positive 10 volts, we have given an alternate connection, that is a positive for a positive 10 volt, and we have connected the positive negative together and taken the negative for the minus 10 volts, and here we have connected the output and the input. This is the input, channel 2 is the input, and channel 1 is the output to the digital oscilloscope, and the function generator generates the input from using a sine function, and the frequency is varied. So according to the question, we have taken 1000 Hertz as the input, and for that you can see the output is this, and as we are changing the frequency, there is a change in the formation, the square waveform the waveform is changing from a sine wave to a square wave, and when we calculate that amplitude, it is already being shown. We've calculated using the markings on the CRO. We can also obtain it from using the measure function, and we notice that as we increase the frequency, the amplitude first increases with the we have the auto set function on the digital CRO, so that it automatically calibrates itself to the waveform on the graph. So as we increase the frequency, we see that first there is an increase that we shown before in the output, but then after that there is a decrease in the output while the input frequency changes, the amplitude remains the same, and the output is becoming very marginal by 300 kilohertz, and now I'm showing you for 1000 kilohertz, that is the 1 megahertz, and we press auto set so that the CRO self-calibrates and we can take the measurement up to 1 megahertz.
In this experiment we are calculating the phase difference, and we can see here we are giving input voltage 10 volts and minus 10 volts by giving appropriate connections, and we can calculate the phase difference by overlapping the two signals, input and output signals. We can calculate the phase difference in degrees by taking the difference of the peaks of the two waveforms and by taking the appropriate scale from the CRO. And by varying the frequency we can get different plots, and at higher frequencies we get a square wave. We can see that now. Yeah, here is a square wave where we get at higher frequencies, and we can calculate the phase difference by the method which was told. And this is the phase difference what we get at 2 kilohertz. And by varying frequencies we calculated phase difference for different frequencies at different frequencies in degrees.
So I've done the sixth question in the problem statement here. The input is the same and the setup is also the same as the original problem statement for phase 1A, and the change we have made here is the input. We have changed it from a sine wave to a square wave, and we've given a frequency of 100 Hertz. And when we give that, the input is being shown here, and the output we're getting is damping oscillation. It is actually critically damped oscillation right here. Every time the square wave rises or falls, we have an impulse response that overshoots for a while, and then we have a critically damped oscillation, and it stabilizes by the time the next trigger is achieved. And the measurements of each falling time, frequency, and rise time are shown here. Period, width. We have taken all the readings of the necessary parameters.